series on English language. Now we're going to deal with this topic on how to form questions in English. How to form questions in English language. Rules. There are certain rules. We're going to look at 3 rules that you have to observe, that you have to note while forming questions in English language. We're going to take rule 1. What is rule 1? Number 1 rule. Put the verb before the subject. 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 There's the subject, that's 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 the subject, that's... Put the verb before the subject. Now, this particular rule is used only with 21 verbs. Only with 21 verbs. What are those verbs? Am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had, shall, should, will, would, can, could, may, might, must, need, dare, ought, used. We use this particular rule. Rule number 1, we're going to look at 3 rules. This rule number 1, say in this rule number 1, put the verb before the subject. Put the verb before the subject. And we use this rule only with the 21 verbs. The 21 verbs are here. Now, how do we do that? Put the verb before the subject. You see, we are putting the verb here where? Look at the subject. Now we say, were you ready by then? Remember, we're saying how to form questions in English language. Now, put the verb before the subject. The verb where, the subject you. Now we say, were you ready by then? Look at this. Is Kenneth there? We are forming a question. Is, that is the verb. Kenneth, that is the subject. So we say, put the verb before the subject. Is Kenneth there? Then you have formed a question. Look at this. Can you read very well? Can, that is the verb. You, that is the subject. Put the verb before the subject. Can you read very well? Must they visit him? Must, that is the verb. They, the subject. Must they, put the subject, put the verb before the subject. Put the verb before the subject. Must they visit him? Will Sandra come on Monday? Was he right? May we go now? Should she do exams? These are questions in English. We say, put the verb before the subject. And then you use this rule only with the 21 verbs. The 21 verbs are here written in red. So, you can put the verb, all the 21 verbs. You put them first, and you put the subject, then you'll be able to form your questions. That is rule number 1. Rule number 1. We're looking at 4 rules. Rule number 1, we say, let's repeat that. Put the verb before the subject. And we use that only with the 21 verbs. Here, am, is, are, was, and so on. Examples. Were you ready by then? Where? The verb. You, the subject. Were you ready by then? Is Kenneth there? Can you read very well? Must they visit him? Will Sandra come on Monday? Was he right? May we go now? Should she do exams? These are questions. How do you form them? Put the verb before the subject. and we used it for only 21 verbs, and the 21 verbs are there. If you like our video, please share, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up. Let's go to rule number 2.